Hello, my name's Kiara, and pretty much I'm just going to be going over and giving you a walk through the 5 phases of the cardiac cycle and also help you explain how they connect to the EKG waves that we hear in the EKG. So, let me first begin. The cardiac cycle is basically one full heartbeat, and it includes periods of contraction called systole and periods of relaxation called dystole. During this cycle, the atria and ventricles take turns filling with blood and pumping it out, and the waves open and close to keep blood moving in the right direction. So the first one is the atrial relaxation and ventricular filling, which is also called as the early dystole. We start in the dystole when both the atria and the ventricles are relaxed. Blood flows passively into the ventricles because the AV valves, the tricuspid, and the mitral valves are open, while the similar valves are closed. So this phase happens after the T wave on the EKG when the heart is electrically quiet. The second one is the atrial systole, known as the atrial contraction and ventricular filling. The atria contracts, pushing the last bit of blood into the ventricles. Then the ventricles are still relaxed, so the AV valves remain open. The contraction corresponds to the P wave, which represents an atrial depolarization. So I try to do the best of my drawing capabilities to demonstrate that. And then the next one, third one, is an isovolanic contraction, beginning of ventricular systole. So now the ventricles begin to contract as soon as the ventricular pressure rises. The AV valve snaps shut and all 4 valves are closed because the ventricles are contracting but no blood is moving yet. So this is called an isovolanic contraction. So the closing of the AV valves creates the first heart sound, which is the S1 through the loop. This phase begins right after the QRS complex, which represents ventricular depolarization. The fourth one is ventricular ejection. So once ventricular pressure becomes higher than the pressure in the aorta and the pulmonary trunk, the similar valves open. Then the blood is ejected out of the heart. So the atria are relaxed during this time and begin filling again. This happens during the ST segment of the EKG. So fifth is the isovolanic relaxation, early ventricular dystole. After the ventricles finish ejecting blood, they begin to relax. As pressure drops, the similar valves close. So, producing the second heart sound, the S2, which is also called the dub. All valves are closed, and again briefly, which is why this is called isovolanic relaxation. This phase occurs right after the T wave, which represents a ventricular repolarization. So once ventricular pressure falls below atrial pressure, the AV valves reopen and the cycle starts all over again. So, in conclusion, P wave equals atrial depolarization, then to the atrial contraction. The QRX complex equals ventricular depolarization, then the isovolanic contraction, which is known as the S1. Then the T wave equals ventricular repolarization, then the similar valves close, which is known as S2. Now, by understanding how the electrical signals, mechanical events, and also wave movements all line up, makes the cardiac circle much easier to visualize. So I really appreciate you watching this, and thank you.